Welcome to another episode. We are going to talk about biohacks for travel. I should have done this months ago, but you're all probably in the middle of your travels now, so maybe it will still help. I am going to talk a little bit about speaking more to the person who's traveling long haul or crossing multiple time zones, because anything less, you don't need a whole lot of hacks, but any of these hacks you can take for anything. But I am a nomad. I am really well traveled. And I figure this is probably really valuable information for most people because for me, it's kind of automatic. I don't even think about things sometimes when I'm traveling. They're just habits, but they're so useful. And I'm amazed sometimes how people don't know a lot of these things. And so I've been traveling most of my life. I think my first trip was on about two. I've traveled to over 50 countries. I've lived in 8 different countries. I speak 6 languages. Been an expat most of my life. Expat meaning an expatriate, meaning you don't live in the country that you're born in. Born in the US. And I've been a nomad. It means living out of a suitcase for the last 6 years with my husband. So we got it down pat, honestly. It's not a lifestyle for everyone, but there are a lot of advantages and disadvantages that come with this. And I've hacked it. It's amazing. I really have a lot of things to share. So what we're going to talk about are things that what to do before taking off, before you even start packing. Then we're going to talk about packing, how to pack and how I pack. And then what you can do for things in flight for your best sleep and to overcome jet lag, because that's kind of the key, especially if you're traveling and you're going, transcontinental for just a week or so. You really got to get that jet lag down to enjoy your trip. And then I'm going to tell you some things that I do when I land. And we're going to talk about a lot of things. And I'm going to throw out some brands and names of things as much as I can. I'll give you codes, discount codes for any of these things. And I'll put those in the show notes. So before we start, please remember to subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already and leave a review, hopefully 5 stars or 500 stars. We would love to have that feedback. And it's really important that you do this simple gesture because it makes a huge difference in how we grow this podcast. Please, please, I'm just selfishly begging you to do that. If you haven't done it already, it takes 2 seconds to do. And if you have done it, thank you so much. I know exactly who you are because I read every single review. So let's get started. What do we do pre takeoff? This is not like right before you take off, like you're sitting in the plane. This is what are you doing to optimize jet lag even before days, weeks before you go into that plane. So the objective here is to sleep on the plane when you cross time zones. If you are doing probably, I don't know, anywhere between anything over 6 hours, I think would be pretty good to get some good sleep on there. And the idea is also to adjust to the time zone probably a couple days before you even take off. So if you are going to, let's say, Thailand from New York, you want to set your clock to the Thailand time zone and slowly, not exactly, but slowly, maybe an hour or two, shift your going to bed time, shift your eating time, shift your wake up time, just to be a little closer to that. It's quite a big distance, but try to go a couple of hours like that. Definitely, definitely, if you're going to a big flight like that, buy a night flight. Get your ticket so that you get on that plane around 10 or 11 o'clock at night, maybe even midnight, because you will be sleepy naturally when you get on that plane. And I have no idea why airlines do this, but they will serve you dinner at like 11 or 12 o'clock at night. Great for the Spaniards, but most of us need to get to sleep. And so if you have those, sometimes they give you these little stickers, puts a mask over your eyes, somehow tell the flight attendants that you do not want to wake up in the middle of the night to eat. Okay. We that will totally disrupt our circadian rhythm. And we're trying to adjust. Even if it's the time zone in that place and it's time to eat, I highly recommend you get as much sleep as you can on that plane. So I also always get a window seat. I am that kind of a person because I can just cozy up my head next to that window or the wall. And I try to get as many pillows as I can. And you can get a lot of the things that I'm going to tell you what you should get on the plane, but try to book your window seat. Okay, for that. Now, also, before you even, days before you travel, you may want to think about your nutrition and hormone balance when you are traveling. And that means if you are going to be eating at any point in that flight, try to prepare your own food, your own snacks. Okay. You can also fast. That's an option. I've done that so many times because don't even bother me if I go to bed at 11 and the plane takes off at 11 p.m. I just want to sleep like 7, 8, 9, 10 hours I can sleep. I'm one of these flexible people. I can usually curl up in a ball, even economy. I'm a great sleeper when it comes to travel because when you do it enough, you get used to it. So sometimes I sleep even better on a plane than I do at home. It's crazy. So try to decide, are you going to fast? I would definitely fast if it's really late at night. I'm certainly not, but I like to have some snacks when I wake up because I don't always like airplane food. Just not thing I like that much. And it's usually never enough. I kind of eat a lot. So I don't like to eat that food and it's teeny tiny. So I like to bring my own snacks. And so I would make something. I like to make my own little protein balls or a little chocolate bar that I make or chocolate bark. I will bring I'm one of these people who bring the sardines on the plane. I know it's stinky, but I try to do it really, really quick. Or sometimes you can buy salmon in these little packs. That doesn't really smell very much. So getting a little protein, sometimes if you go to a health shop, you can get some jerky, turkey jerky or beef jerky. Those things are so easy to take on the plane. You got a great little protein boost there. Dried nuts, I mean, fruit and nuts are also super easy to eat. Fruit, the ones that you don't have to peel. So I usually take apples, pears, grapes, nothing that I need to really peel. Bananas are easy. You can peel a banana quite easily. Doesn't make a mess. And chopped carrot sticks, celery sticks. These are all super easy. They're not messy. They're healthy and they satiate you. Okay. If you get a little bit of proteins from the sardines or your salmon, or sometimes even little ham slices, you can get your fats from some nuts. You can get your fiber from carrots, celery. It's just so many great things, fruit as well. The other thing to think about, we're still on that pre-takeoff moment. When you book your hotel room, try to find one that has a gym. It's worth that extra cost. It's you bring your trainers or sneakers or whatever you want to call them. It will motivate you. I brought these sneakers all the way from wherever you live. I'm gonna wear them. So use the gym. Sometimes these gyms, are really well equipped, sometimes not at all, but it gives you that space. Even if you go, "Ugh, I just really don't feel like going to the gym," just go there, say that you're gonna go stretch, and then you get there and you're like, "You know what? I could actually do the treadmill a little bit, or I can do the bike or whatever, some weights that you'd like to do." It's really, really good to have a hotel with a gym. And if you don't have a gym in your hotel or sometimes Airbnb, find one nearby. Okay. Do a little research, find a hotel or an Airbnb that has a gym near it. And you can always train in your room. I mean, I've been in the smallest spaces. All you need is your phone. You need an app or Google a YouTube video, so many great things, but one of my favorite hacks, for staying in shape, and is my Katsu bands. I talk about these things all the time. These are blood flow restriction bands. I have an episode on that. I'll see if I can remember to put that in the show notes. They've saved my life many times. The other thing to think about when you're booking your hotel room is if you don't have a gym, if you can't find one nearby, you don't want to train indoors, well, train outdoors, weather permitting. It's not too hot, it's not raining or wherever it is. Try to find a park. Even you, when I look for Airbnbs or hotel rooms, I really scan the map and I look for those little green zones. I want to see a green zone because I know that I can go outside and maybe do a little training outdoors. So when you're researching your rooms, also look for not the gym, only the gyms, but look for cafes and health shops. This is where you can pick up your favorite snacks, knowing that you won't be deprived. You can satiate your whatever sweet, salty, snacky person with a little health shop. And if you have an Airbnb where you actually can cook, you may go, you know what, I'm going to eat breakfast in the room because I want to get out, I want to tour, I want to do things. Or if you're a nomad like me, you just got to get to work and you don't have time to fuss around looking for a breakfast place. Then stock up your mini fridge with healthy snacks. This can be eggs, it can be a little bit of lettuce, it can be whatever it is that you like to eat in the morning. Fruit is always easy too. But I always like to sing the mantra of protein, fats, and fiber, whatever that is, get that in first thing in the morning. And then also plan and research what sites you want to see, what tours you want to do. I'm a planner. I always find that it's so much easier and smoother when you do a little work ahead of time. I always say if you fail to plan, you just plan to fail. That's just what the way it is. Unless you're just like that free spirit, that's fine too. If you like to do that, that's your way. The other thing I like to do before I get on that plane is drink hydrogenated water. It's also called molecular hydrogen water. I take mine in these little tablets and HRW, drink HRW is what it is. And this is just little tablets that are infused with molecular hydrogen. And I put that in a bottle in the plane when I take off. It's you can take it for a few days before to kind of see how you react to it, see what it's like, and then keep drinking it even after you land. And this has got antioxidants in it. It reduces inflammation. It helps you stay hydrated. It can give you energy. Actually, that's the one thing I hear from most of the people who do drink hydrogenated water is that they got more energy, some more focus and more in their brain as well. So hydrogenated water, one other thing that you can do. And if these are really long haul flights and you travel a lot, you may want to think about buying some anti-radiation clothing because we get a lot of radiation when we get up there too long. And this blocks EMFs, those electromagnetic fields as well. There's a brand called LAMS, LAMBS, and I'll see if I can find discount codes for that too. But go find that out if you are concerned about radiation. And the other great thing to do before you even get on that plane is to download things. If you aren't going to sleep, or if you just want to have a little bit of entertainment before and after, of course, if it's long haul flights very often have TVs, but I always find that kind of disruptive to my sleep as well. So I don't like to get that blue light from the screens if my objective is to try to sleep to hack jet lag. So I prefer to download books, audiobooks, podcasts on my phone, but you can also do it on your computer. And the last thing you got to download before you even take off is Google Translate if you don't have it already. This has been a lifesaver. I can't believe I just spoke with a friend of mine who is a former flight attendant of 30 years. She travels all the time. She didn't know about this app. Blew my mind. So you may not know of it. It's going to save you so much if you're going to countries where they don't speak English or they speak it, but it's just maybe more challenging. So you can download this. You have a text thing option. So you're like, oh, what is this word in English? Or how do I say this word in Italian? And then they also have the best thing what I love about it is a photo option where you can take a photo or you just hold the camera in front of a food label because I always read these food labels wherever I go, and I can figure out a lot of stuff on my own, but sometimes I get stuck, don't know, or I want to read it really fast. And you have your phone over the text of the label or the train ticket or the book or the sign or whatever it is that you're looking at. and it automatically translates it to English or whatever language you want to be translating into. And we have all the languages there. You can choose which language you're translating from and to. And then there's a mic option. There's a little mic. So if you want to say something really quick and you want it translated in Chinese, well, then you can speak into this mic and then it'll play in Chinese or whatever language is for the other person. Really cool. It's just called Google Translate. It's an app. Let's move on to our packing. All right. Here are my packing tips. Now, I have so many, and I'm not going to go into detail. So I'll try to give you kind of the basics that I do. So the first thing is you want to be comfortable. Okay. Let's talk about first being comfortable on the plane and then comfortable when you are traveling. So get what you need to get whatever comfort is on that plane. Neck pillows. I literally bring pillows. If I'm traveling to a cold country, I like to bundle up in my jacket. So I'll take a big, heavy jacket. I bundle that up to try to prop myself against the wall near the window and try to sleep really well. I also have this really cool carry-on that's small enough to put under my seat. It's a carry-on that actually has the wheels and the little handle, but it's so small, it goes under the seat. And what I do when I take off, I use that as a footrest. I kind of pull it out and I can sleep. It's like really, really cool little hack. But they also sell these little, what are they called? They're like swings for your feet, a hammock for your feet. And you can kind of hook these things as well and set your feet up. Just propping your feet up a little bit, it makes a big difference. Even on Turkish Airlines is one of my favorite airlines. They have this little footrest that you can pick up. That makes a little big difference. Travel business class if you can. That's obviously a great hack. Compression socks. Those some people really, really feel really great when they have a lot of water retention and their legs are achy. Compression socks are great. I haven't used them myself, but I know that they're kind of one of those basics. Definitely bring an eye mask. You may need it in your destination because you'll be surprised how many countries do not use blinds and curtains. And in the summertime, the sun may come up at 4 in the morning. And that's no fun if you're trying to sleep. So, a simple sleep mask has saved my life too. Earplugs as well. You can use just the simple foamy ones if that works for you. There's wax. I like my Quietons. These are little noise canceling earbuds. There's no EMFs. It doesn't play sounds or music. It just has an opposing sound wave, so that it blocks out the noise. And it's amazing. And so I use those on the plane and I don't hear any screaming babies. And I use them in my destination if I find that my husband is snoring or if I happen to be sleeping on a busy street. It's amazing. Also, what's really good is to bring a scarf, kind of a simple thing. Even though I am in Spain right now, I am so hot. I'm sweating. We've been recording this, and I'm going to be going to Prague. And I checked out the weather there, and it gets pretty low in the upper 50s, low 60s in the evening on early morning. So I think I'm going to be happy with my scarf. And then sometimes you find out, well, on the plane, it's a little chilly because that air conditioning, some people put it on really high. So take that scarf on the plane with you. Don't just pack it. And of course, get comfortable shoes. This is for being on your travels as well as in at your destination. I am very interested in these new shoes called Peluvas, Peluva. And my biohacking bestie, Natalie Nidham, did a great podcast recording with Mark Sisson, who created this. And I gotta get my hands on some of these. That just sounds like an amazing pair of footwear. But they're kind of like the 5 finger ones, but get whatever you're comfortable in. Just get something. The one thing menopausal women and perimenopausal women, stock up on your hormones. And that is super important because when you go to another country, they're not going to give you your estradiol if you run out or your progesterone. This is not usually over the counter. You're going to have to get a prescription for that. That means, oh, you have to go make an appointment for the doctor to try to get a prescription. Good luck with that. It's a pain in the butt and a total waste of time. So just don't forget your HRT. Don't forget any medication that you need. This is also going to be a real pain in the butt if you have to get it. So take it on your carry on. Don't pack it in your suitcase in case your luggage gets lost. So if you have it on your carry on, make sure it's 100 ml or less. Sometimes they do let you squeeze in. I mean, that's at your own risk, but try to make sure you have bottles that are really small and will last you enough time. So what I do, sometimes I travel, out of the country where I get my hormones for 3 months. So I ask the doctor to give me a 3 months supply. I do not carry all, say, 3 months worth of 3 bottles of whatever. I will put some stuff in my suitcase and just take that risk, but I will always have something with me in my carry-on. And also, if you have medication, you may want to make sure your name is on the bottle, the prescription is there. Bringing drugs into another country is illegal in most cases, and you don't want to be, having a problem. So make sure you get that in your name. The other thing you want to pack, and if you saw my suitcase, you would think I'm some sort of a drug mule because I have so many supplements with me. Okay, not only my HRT, but I got tons of supplements. And so if you are concerned about your immune system, you probably want to get your vitamin D, get some zinc, get some vitamin C, get extra vitamin C, up to probably a 1 gram. Boost your immune system before you fly, during the flight, and when you land. Reishi mushroom is another great thing I travel with all the time. I love, my favorite one is called Reishi Max. It's only sold in Hong Kong. In the US, actually, it's in the US, but I can't get it here in Europe. And it's spore-based. It's so good, and it works like a charm. And that I take usually a few days before my trip, and then during the trip, I actually continue, and then even when I get back, if it's like a week or 2 trip. But anyways, get some kind of a mushroom. So good for your immune system. If you're concerned about gut and your gut issues, if you like to try different foods and you know your stomach's a little sensitive, bring what works for you and bring enough of it. Digestive enzymes is a typical thing, or probiotics. Bring those along as well. If you're going to the sun, I can highly, 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 highly recommend astaxanthin. It's a hard word to spell. Astaxanthin. Astaxanthin is one of my favorite supplements that nobody knows about. It's great for your skin. I take 10 milligrams a day, and if I'm out in the sun for longer, then I would double that up and take more. Astaxanthin is just a great thing if you're going into the sun. And I also have, if you've been listening for more than a minute, Nebu Naturals. This is a skin serum that has astaxanthin in it. So I'm also putting it on my face and on my neck and my décolleté and my hands. It just goes everywhere. So astaxanthin. And if you're concerned about, if you're a little stressed when you travel, get your B vitamins, get your curcumin, lower inflammation if you got that. The other thing I always travel with are essential amino acids. This is because sometimes when I'm really on the move, if I don't have an Airbnb, if I'm in a hotel and I'm just have to fend for my food somehow, I don't like to skip my protein, and sometimes you do. Or sometimes, just don't feel like eating protein. So I take essential amino acids. This is different than BCAAs. These are EAAs. And I'll put in the show notes some of the brands that I like. Amino Co is one, MAPS, MAP. And then the new one on the block that I'm dying to get, but I can't get it here in Europe, is Kion, Kion. And those are some of the top ones that I know of. I think Perfect Aminos is also pretty good. If you're concerned about detoxing, right? If you're going to a place, let's say you eat a lot of fish like me and seafood, or things that you're not really sure of, then you may want to bring on glutathione, activated charcoal, chlorella, spirulina. Eat cilantro if you can grab cilantro on the side. If you're in Thailand, you'll probably have a lot of cilantro going with that seafood. I also like to travel with magnesium. Okay, this is really good. Magnesium is just kind of one of those basics that we always have to have. And take travel packs of the things that you like best. If it's a protein powder or essential amino acids, or if you like little matcha sticks or electrolytes, whatever it is, a lot of these companies will sell travel packs. And these are so convenient rather than bring your big tub or trying to put it in a plastic bag and everything. So that's the thing. The other thing that you can choose to do if it works for you is just to go off all of your supplements for a while. And I do that a couple times a year. I'll just stop for a month or so. I just, it's so good to not take supplements for a while. And that way I can also see what may be working for me better or not. Not always, but sometimes you go, huh, I don't feel as good. And then you go back on it and you're like, hey, that really works for me. So it's always good to stop for a while if you can. And the other thing I always travel with is a little electric whisk. Okay, maybe this is not the kind of thing if I'm going on a short trip, but if I go on a longer trip and I know I'm going to be in an Airbnb, I like to make my own little teas or golden milk or matcha, my coffee, and my room. So I like to have some kind of a whisk so I can whisk whatever, milks that I'm using or collagen creamers or whatever it is that you like. So that's always really cool. And when you're packing, less is more. Let me remind you, you do not need all of that stuff. You think you do, or you want to be prepared and just in case. Well, no, you don't need it. I guarantee you, when you travel and then you come back, you're going to go, yeah, I think I packed a little bit too much. And you're going to be lugging that suitcase and it's going to be so heavy. And then you won't have any room for souvenirs or maybe those cute pair of shoes that you saw or that, wonderful whatever it is that you saw. I usually wind up buying food from other places too. And I'm a little bit of a foodie. So I don't want to fill up my suitcase too much because then I won't have room for other things. So try to mix and match and combine and, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be happy. Okay. Exercise clothes, don't forget those. You don't need a lot, but just have something to wear to the gym, or even if it's in your room, it's nice to be a little bit more comfortable doing your own little workout with there. I usually bring one to wear, one to wash. Okay, like one pair of shorts, or two pair of shorts, one to wear, one to wash, or maybe sometimes, depending on the weather, maybe one pair of leggings and one pair of shorts, and then two little tops of some kind of sports bras. And then, of course, bring your comfortable shoes, or if you're running, bring your running shoes. And the other thing when it comes to exercise, again, the Katsu bands are always with me. It's been the best investment of my life. And I often travel with a flex beam as well, because this is my red light therapy. I really like it. For me, it's really great when I have achy joints, or if I have a bruise, or I have muscle soreness. That kind of goes with me everywhere because it's pretty small. And I used to travel with a little mini Go called a Joovv Go, and that one is also, it's even smaller than the Flex Beam, but I can't put it actually on a body part. But I sometimes travel with both, and I like my red light therapy for many other things as well. In flight, what are we gonna do once we are in the plane taking off and we're in the air, and how can we make ourselves sleep or be more comfortable? That's the game. Get all the things that I mentioned before, your earbuds, your eye mask, your pillows, your neck pillow, your blanket or your scarf or whatever it is. Make your nest. Your little chair is your nest. Okay? Make it the best that you can. Again, decide if you're going to snack or if you're going to fast, whatever it is. I recommend if it's a night flight, please just fast. You're going to set your circadian rhythm to the new place when you get there. Strategize your caffeine. Okay. If you want to stay up and you want to be awake, I usually would recommend when you land, if it's during the day in the morning and you're feeling pretty groggy and tired from that flight, go drink your caffeine. It's going to make you awake and it's going to set you up for a good night's sleep later. Can you believe it? I just said caffeine will make you sleep, but it will, because you will not be falling asleep during the day. Because if you fall asleep and take that nap when you just arrived to Japan from New York, you will not sleep when you need to sleep. Okay. So strategize your caffeine. Also, if you are if you're well, if you have trouble sleeping on the plane, melatonin, this is a good time to take it. I like herbatonin because it's a plant-based melatonin. We did a great podcast with Dr. Deanna Minnick about herbatonin. If you are anywhere in the US, you can get there. It's great. It's great. And it's much more effective too, according to their studies. And I would take your melatonin or herbatonin 30 minutes before you take off, and or you can take it even, right at the takeoff, because I've heard this story from one friend of mine who's travels all the time, and he took his melatonin before the plane took off, and then they had to deboard the plane because of I don't know what, and he was so groggy, he could hardly sit up. So you may want to just take it right at takeoff. So play around with your melatonin. It's a good thing if you're trying to hack your sleep. No alcohol, please. I know you may go, "Oh, it's gonna make me sleepy," or "I wanna take advantage of the champagne in business class," or "I want to have a little thing of wine," or whatever it is, it's free, they're serving it, whatever. Just skip it, please. This is not the time to drink your alcohol. It's gonna disrupt your sleep, disrupt the circadian rhythm, and your objective is to have a nice vacation. Drink your wine when you get there, okay? When you're on the plane and say you are having trouble sleeping, or you're just it's not the time yet, it's a great time to meditate and practice your breath work. Especially you're taking off and you can't use your phones, or maybe, you just can't watch TV, whatever it is, get get that sound, your headphones in your ears, and go listen to a meditation. Do an hour of it. You're going to be in that plane for a while, and it's such a wonderful time, and you'll probably fall asleep, right? I like to use the app called Insight Timer. It's free. It's great. There is a paid version. Never used it. Never had to. I find everything I need there in terms of meditation and breath work. Headspace is another one. And I'm also a big fan of Newcom. I did a great podcast with Dr. Jim, I'm not Dr. Mr. Jim Poole, who's the CEO of Newcom. And this is neuroacoustic software. And that's just amazing. I call it meditation made easy, because you don't have to think, you don't have to do anything. Your brain just goes straight into those brain waves. Love Newcom. And if you are getting a little antsy, if your body just needs to move, well, you can stand up, walk around the plane a little bit, get some blood flow going. You can do little foot exercises, little leg exercises, even in your seat. Move your ankles around, or pick up contract your thighs. All these little things may help bring a little bit more blood flow and feel a bit better. Now, once we land, we've arrived in your destination of Singapore. Yay! Now you get to hack your sleep. Okay. Wherever it is that you're arriving, you have to remember you can manipulate your circadian rhythm and adjust much better with light and food. So, depending on the hour that you arrive, again, you want to try to adjust to the time zone. So if you are landing, this is what I do. I bring my blue blocking glasses, for example, and imagine I'm landing in somewhere, let's say, let's choose a new destination, let's say the Philippines. And I land there and it's nighttime, but yet the airport is full of these bright lights. What's that going to do? It's going to wake me up. I will not be sleepy. So I get out my Viva Rays, those are my blue blocking glasses, and I walk around the airport with my blue blocking glasses. And I know that when I get to my room, I'm gonna be sleeping. And in these kind of flights, or if I take a night flight and I know I'm gonna land and it's gonna be bedtime, say within 5 hours, I wanna make sure I don't sleep too much on the plane, because I'm a really good sleeper, so I will have to force myself to wake up and adjust. And again, everyone's a little different, maybe it'll work for you some other way. I'm just teaching you some of the hacks that I do. If it's in the morning when you land in Vietnam, let's say you're going to Ho Chi Minh and it's morning time and you're really sleepy and you had a really bad flight, let's say you didn't sleep, you're going to see that bed, that hotel bed, and you're just going to be like, I just want to sleep. Just want to lay down. I just want to lay down. Do not lay down, please. Do not lay down. step away from the bed, go outside, do not wear sunglasses, get that sunlight in your eyeballs, and go eat something. Light and food will wake you up. If it's evening time in Ho Chi Minh, well, you do not want to have light and you don't want to eat too much. Okay. If you're starving, of course, have a snack, have a light meal. Tomorrow, you will be able to eat all the food that you want. So try to get a good night's sleep. That's the objective. And if you are getting sleepy around 6 or 7 p.m., try to hack it. Try to stay up a little later, as late as you can, around 9, 10, 11, 12. Something like that. Because if you go to bed too early, you're going to rise at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, going, oh my God, everything's closed. I'm not supposed to be awake now. And you're going to be super tired in the middle of the day when you shouldn't be. So try to get on the circadian rhythm as soon as you can of the zone that you're in. You may even need to take melatonin for the first night or two if you're there too. Now, what do we do about our food when we are in our new destination? Well, you have to decide what you're going to do. Like, what kind of a vacation is this? Is this a short trip to, I like to choose Bhutan? You'll never go back to Bhutan ever again. And that's, you want to enjoy all the food and it's just going to be there for a week. Well, like, do whatever the hell you want to do. Like, enjoy. I think that's my position. But if you're going to be traveling a long time and you're going, oh my God, I don't want to have to lose all this weight when I get back and I don't, yeah, not going to feel good. Well, then you're going to have to come up with a strategy of how you're going to manage your food. And or the opposite, like me, I tend to lose weight when I travel because I'm not getting my protein in. So then I've got to eat protein like it's my job, even if I don't feel like it sometimes. So it's really important. You decide what your objective is, and then what your limitations are, and how you're gonna deal with it. So whatever you do, I highly recommend eating protein, fats, and fiber. Again, protein, get your fish, your meat, your chicken, your soybeans, or your tofu, or beans, lentils, whatever it is that you like. Get your fats. It's going to be hopefully mostly from olive oil or coconut oil and nuts and seeds. These are healthy fats, not some deep fried wonton, unless you're on that, very quick trip and you just want to enjoy the food. And you're going to get fiber. Try to eat as many vegetables as you possibly can. And I'm sorry if you're going to Japan because they don't eat a lot of vegetables there. So you're going to be starving for that big ass salad when you get back. But do the best that you can. Because vegetables there are like for decoration more than anything. The supplements you wanna bring to the restaurant, like, you don't wanna have to bring this is what I do. These are my little travel hacks. Again, my life is travel. So if I were to go bonkers, whatever country I go to, I probably wouldn't be feeling very good. So I have to hack my nutrition as I go. So what I always do, I bring chili flakes. I bring my own chili flakes, little fat burner, and cinnamon. Control those blood sugar spikes. I just love these 2 flavors. I can't always get them. I don't carry it with me if I'm in Thailand or some place that eats a lot of chili, Bhutan. And I like the cinnamon as well. It's just so lovely. And berberine is another great hack. If you have berberine, it doesn't have to be any special berberine, honestly. Just get your berberine, have a couple of capsules before you eat your food, and that'll help with any blood sugar spikes as well. And apple cider vinegar is also another great. Sometimes I travel with it in little teeny tiny bottles, and sometimes I just ask the restaurants, like, "Hey, can you get me some apple cider vinegar and lemon juice?" They think I'm crazy. Most people don't honor that, but I always try. And or you can actually buy it at home in your Airbnb or in your hotel, and you just take it before you go out. And when I go out to eat, I am a foodie. I am a curious eater. I will eat anything. I don't have digestive or gut issues, so I'm so excited whenever I go to a new place and I want to try all the things. So I try to choose things that are on the menu that I know will be good for me, like using the words grilled, broiled, baked, boiled, steamed. These are good words for me, and I enjoy them so much. And I try to avoid anything on the menu that says deep fried or fried, crispy, crunchy, barbecued. These all mean that they're just probably inflammatory oils and not so good for me. And the last thing I'd like to do is put sauce on the side. Sauce on the side. It's so simple. You can always decide what you're going to eat and what if you're going to use that sauce or not, because you're going to dip your fork in it, taste it, and go, okay, this is yummy and delicious, and I like it, and I pretty much know what it is. Or you can do like me and just say, I just want olive oil and vinegar. And if it's a salad, but if it's a sauce that goes on a chicken or something, or I like to control what goes in there. And now you're going to have to decide what are you going to do for your exercise or your movement. I recommend moving every single day of your trip, unless you're so burnt out, you just want to lay on the beach all day. It's fine too. Depends what kind of a holiday that is, or travel. Maybe it's for business, maybe it's for work, or maybe you're a nomad like me. But try and move every day. It's really important to get blood flow and circulation. I love to, the first thing I do when I go to a city, I like to get the lay of the land, if it's a new place for me, by taking one of these free walking tours. It's free. Well, it's not exactly free. At the end, they ask you for a donation. It's usually about $10 and or 10 euros. And it's a great way to discover the city. And you talk to the guide, you ask for some references and good places to eat or where to find a doctor or where to get whatever it is that you need. And they know the place. This is a local. I like to create active holidays. If I'm on a vacation, love to, choose places where I can go hiking or biking or swimming or kayaking or whatever I can. But sometimes I'm just in a big city, and that's when I would go rent a bike. They have these city bikes that are super easy to rent. You have to put in your card details. It's kind of a mess in the beginning, but once you're in, it's easy. You just take a bike and you go on your way. You leave the bike another station. It's super fun. If you are near water, I highly recommend getting into the water, getting into the sea or the ocean or wherever you are. Super good for you. You're going to feel recharged. There's so many great benefits of that. Paddle boarding is another fun thing to do in the water, or any water sports is great. Yoga, if your hotel has a yoga class, great. Take advantage of those. I find yoga studios everywhere. Sometimes I just don't feel like doing a YouTube video. So, and I want to meet people. So I will go find the closest yoga studio to me and just enter a class. And it's wonderful because you also meet some other locals too. And then maybe even learn some new words in a new language if it's in their local language. And if you want to just stay in your room, you can always do apps. There's so many fitness apps out there. There are YouTube videos. I used to do an app called Seven. I think it's called 7 or 7 minute. It's all just 7 minute workouts. So even if I only got 7 minutes, I got a little workout in, and I feel good about it because sometimes they're hard, and you're like 7 minutes is enough. Sometimes they're a little easier, and I'm like, you know what? I can do 2 rounds. I'll do 14 minutes, or I'll do 3 rounds or 4 rounds. However, maybe I have more time, maybe more energy. So that's a really fun app to do. Or I'll just Google, upper body workout, no weights on YouTube, and you'll find something. Caroline Gervais is like my favorite right now. It's who I'm totally into. What about our brain? What can we do for our brain and our brain health when we're traveling? Well, learn the basics of the local language if they don't speak English. Learn how to say please and thank you. Learn how to say, do you speak English in that language? Hello, goodbye, good morning. These are so basic. And the locals appreciate this when you make a little effort. It's really nice. And I think it's really good for your brain. Travel is good for your brain. The challenges that come with travel, because there will be, that's good for your brain. You're building new neural networks there. And it's wonderful. I always think, travel is one of the best ways to educate yourself too. So be a good tourist. You represent your country. So make a good impression. So those are my quick travel hacks. Those are the basics. There's so much more. I should probably do some more advanced biohacks for menopause, but this is the foundation. The objective is to manage the jet lag, overcome that, set your circadian rhythm so that you can optimize your trip, get more days of energy rather than grogginess and sleepiness. You want to stay healthy. The worst thing is to get sick on a 1 week trip and you didn't take advantage of anything. So stay healthy, keep your immune system up, keep your gut health up, keep your energy up. Find balance in nutrition and movement. Be kind to the locals. Adjust all of these hacks to your needs. Okay. These are just suggestions. And remember, if you fail to plan, you're going to plan to fail. So you don't worry if everything just goes to hell. If you're like, oh, there's all these hacks written out and you didn't do a thing. So what? You had a great trip and tomorrow is another day. Embrace the journey just as needed. So thank you so much for listening. Check out the show notes for any discount codes and links and things that I talked about here. Share the episode with anyone that you love, who you think will be traveling and will enjoy this information. So enjoy your summer or winter if you're down under, and happy travels.